All right, let's set the ball rolling with the ongoing Asuu strike. The Nigeria Labour Congress and its affiliate unions on Tuesday defied warnings by the federal government and took to the streets of major cities in the country to protest against the failure of the federal government to resolve the 5-month strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. However, while Labour gave the federal government a 2-week ultimatum to resolve the crisis, a senior advocate of Nigeria and rights activist Femi Falana joined the demonstration in Lagos, while some governors in their respective states identified with Labour with a view to ending the prolonged Asuu strike. And joining us to discuss this further is Dr. Dayo Kayode, a public affairs analyst and a political technocrat. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. This your laugh this morning. Eh? What is behind it?
I don't understand.
Okay, good morning, Mobolali. Because this your laugh this morning, eh?
Good morning.
You want me to frown?
Because I thought that you two will be as serious as Oga Samson has been since, very serious.
You always like to come in with a dramatic comment every morning, Dr. Dayo.
Are you sure? If I tell you what happened over the weekend, you will not believe it. When somebody is say, do you people at that reception, they ran away. At a burial ceremony, somebody was now playing Emiloko. Emikolo.
All right, you succeeded in cracking us up. But let's talk about this Asuu strike. What are your thoughts on the solidarity protest by the NLC?
It's even belated. It's supposed to have happened before now. I'd been expecting NLC to join Asuu ever since maybe about a month or even 2. Because now, if you see all those children at home, honestly, you will pity them. Okay, by the time they get back to school, they need to recalibrate themselves so that they can settle down. And for them to get themselves calibrated, it's still going to take some time. 2, most of them had gone into some kind of engaging themselves in some social activities that are inimical to our societal norms and values. I will tell you this. Most parents are never at home with them. So you now see them going out of the house, okay, joining others who are not in school, playing around with miscreants. And by so doing, Yoruba will say, when you wrap a soap with a leaf, after a while, that leaf will turn to soap.
Yes, but has NLC strike ever yielded expected results in the past? I'm
still coming there.
Okay.
I'm still coming there. So what I'm saying in essence is, even the 2 weeks of ultimatum supposed not to have been there.
The one given by President Muhammad Buhari.
So the Minister of Education.
Don't let us go to Muhammadu Buhari now. Because ever since he had assumed that position, his statements has always been the height of vacuous statements I ever had in my lifetime. When he's telling you to, you better check very well. It's not meaning to for you. And that's why I told some people last week when he made it say that he's tired, he wants to go home. I said, forget about that statement. Read his lips. Then you know that something is in the offing. Anyway, we are waiting to see that. Back to the Asuu strike and the NLC. You see, these children, they have been at home for too long. So it is high time, something is being done. Not just something being done permanently. That it must never happen again. Listen, as a graduate, you should go to Canada. All right? If you go to Canada, you will have to write some other exams to qualify you to practice. But Ghanaians will go there. Sierra Leoneans will go there without writing any exam. Is that not an insult on our educational system? And these are people that normally come here in those days on educational tourism. Look at where we are now. In 1982, 1982, I remembered. I had an admission to Pennsylvania University in the US. And I was showing my dad. Daddy, see, I've gotten admission. And he said, come on. It's only those that cannot make it educationally here that travels out. And that's the truth.
Like the speaker.
2 weeks after, I got admission to the University of Ibadan.
You saw the picture splattered on the front page of the newspaper recently.
Sure. Don't talk about Femi Gbajabiamila. Is that?
But let's talk about NLC. Have they ever achieved expected results with their strike?
Listen, to what extent after Bafia also, after Bafia, to what extent have they been achieving? They will say, okay, we are going on strike because of increase in pump price of petrol. For example, from 10 naira to 15 naira, we go on strike. So, I mean, at that time, you often see people dying, you often see shops looted and all that. They will now say, okay, we are going for negotiation. Maybe the government will now bring it to, for example, now 13 naira. And they will now come out, we don't win. I always look at who has won. You've not won anything. For you to tell me you have won, you have to go back to status quo. All right? Look at minimum wage. Look at minimum wage. I've been telling Labour for how long? You stop asking for minimum wage because you are still using the language you have been using for ages. Since Baba Asuu, since Pa Umodu. Stop using that. Why can't you be innovative? There was a time I was sitting on the platform with the secretary. I said, listen, I as a person, I'm not a labor leader, but I have looked at it. All you need to be asking for is not minimum wage, but sustainable. Listen, that sustainable must be there. Sustainable minimum living standard. Not about wage now, living standard. Because as a worker, your standard of living is supposed to be at a particular level. So when you are not using that word sustainable, any distortion in that living standard must be, that means your wage must be revisited.
But let's not shift focus. Let's come back to the
you are talking about whether they have achieved anything or not. They have not been achieving anything. So between you and me, I'm still not seeing.
But you are saying they should have gone on the strike earlier.
Except.
Okay.
Except. Let us underline except. If unions like NUATI, National Union of Airport Transport Employee, ATSA, senior staff of airport, whatever. All right. NUPENG. Then maybe Nubife for that of banks. Except if those ones can join.
But they are saying that they are going to join the aviation sector.
That's what I'm saying. I say until when they join, if they can join and then lock up the whole place. Let the whole place be locked up. Then we know that yes, all of us will now be at home. Then all the NURTW should also be part of it. The Okada, I can't remember. They call
the union.
Okada Union,
Akroma.
Yes, let them also join. Then everybody will now be at home. Then we now know that yes, we have something at hand to deal with. Not until that. If we leave it for NLC alone, forget.
Okay, but were you even expecting the turnout from what we saw over the course of the 2 days, solidarity protest? I think the people came out en masse to really show solidarity with Asuu.
Good enough.
So don't you think that that's a step in the right direction? And
what I'm saying, all right?
Okay.
One, it's belated. What I'm saying belated is like the one that happened yesterday is a signal because of the amount of solidarity from the people. From the people now. Okay? So, it's a kind of a signal. But for it to have a bite, because we know that we have a government in place that is not responsive. Not responsive. Because if this government has been responsive, all the free money that we're having in different MBGs and all that people were now stealing would have been brought together to solve some of these problems. Okay, that's why I'm saying a government that is not responsive. All the money that have been collected, because EFCC always say, we have collected so billion from this. We have collected. Where are this money? Bring this money out. Use it to solve issues. But by the time those unions I mentioned just now joins, and then the whole place is locked down, peradventure, they will listen. But again, they will only listen if the statement we had last week is not meant for what I am thinking. But if it is meant for what I am thinking,
the one by President
the one by Buhari,
okay.
If it is to what I've been thinking, then lock up the whole place. He will still be sleeping where he's sleeping.
Okay,
So,
let's look at it this way. I mean, the solidarity strike, yes, 2 days. Talks of expanding or extending it, further if there's no response within the time frame. Do you think that within that time frame, Asuu and the federal government can yield grounds from their extreme positions? And
I don't want us to use the word shift ground. Nobody, I will not. If Asuu at this point should shift ground, then that means Asuu is not what is sought.
No,
because
okay,
our children have suffered enough.
But there has to be some compromise of
listen,
some
Asuu in the past till now, with the last one they signed, had shifted grants. Which grant do you want Asuu to shift again? We are talking about quality of education. We are talking about infrastructures in the university. We are talking about an enabling environment.
But you're not talking about the major bone of contention, the IPPIS.
It's part of it.
Isn't that a ground to shift?
What is a grant to shift there? When we are talking about autonomy of the university, and you are saying you don't want to give universities autonomy. Why? No, when somebody, how can a citadel of education be controlled by those that are not even learned, by those that are parading fake certificates? What will you expect? It's just like a professor of aeronautical engineer. Okay, an aeronautical engineer professor was inside the aircraft traveling Lagos to Abuja, and then when the pilot was now announcing, okay, this is flight so Lagos Abuja, this is all those blah blah blah, I am your pilot. He now mentioned his name. The professor now had that name. That used to be my student too. He said, please, I need to drop from this aircraft.
Why?
Because he knew what he has taught that pilot. That is half-baked. He doesn't want to risk his life. He started shouting. And the crew now had to stop the aircraft back to the bay. He dropped. And some other people too dropped. Because he told them why he has to drop.
Is that a real life scenario, or you just cook it up?
Well, you yourself should be able to decipher that.
Now, one of the concerns, because you're being a very funny man, one of the concerns Asuu raised was the fact that they don't want Chris Ngige to be on the panel when discussing all of this.
Because he has not been faithful. Ngige has been a kind of a meander. He has been meandering between the panel and even the government. No, Peradventure, he has been the devil advocate in this scenario.
But this thing again isn't even the Minister of Education. He seems to have so much involvement, even more than the Minister of Education.
Because he is the Minister
of Labor.
And every other worker, any worker, anywhere.
Should he be more involved than the Minister of Education himself?
I should think so. But if only the Minister of Education knows his onions, he is supposed to have been.
We don't see him doing much. Adamu.
But then, can't you remember what he did with the students the other time? I mean, can't you? You know, that was why I said somebody can have capacity, but when you don't have the character, then your capacity is zero. That is the problem of Adamu. Adamu is a professor. Adamu knows what happens in the educational sector, but he doesn't have that, how do I put it now, that character. He doesn't have that temerity to control it. He doesn't have that energy to control it. And that is why Ngige is taking over from him. And Ngige now playing devil's advocate. So where do we go from here?
Okay.
And unfortunately, the president that we have too. Sorry, let's leave.
Okay, let's look at this. I mean, 2-day solidarity protest. Yes, fine. People came out en masse. There's a time frame. The president also gave a 2 weeks, ultimatum to the Minister of Education, to resolve the disputes. Now, the question will be this: if they fail to come to a resolution within that 2 weeks time frame, do you expect NLC to go on a lengthier strike or protest? That's 1. 2, do you think that it will require shutting down virtually every sector of the nation, of the polity, for Asuu to get back to work?
You see, some things are playing out in this country that is giving me concern.
Okay.
And that is also probably making the government to get this thing protracted. Okay? To get these things protracted. It seems as if this government is intentionally trying to foment trouble. I'm telling you this, write it down, and at the end of the day, people will see it playing out. Okay? It seems this government is out to foment trouble.
What do you mean by that?
I will tell you. Look at this Asuu strike. They are aware why Asuu has been on strike. They are aware the implication of all this, but they are not yielding. NSC now told them, look, I will join this strike if you don't resolve this. And that's what we are seeing yesterday. Now, if NSC now wants to go full throttle on this thing, the Nuati, Atsan, Nubife, Nupeng, NMA, MBA, every one of them belongs
to the
NLC. Okay? If all these people now decide to join them
alongside the Trade Union Congress,
sure, alongside TUC,
yes,
without allowing Ajero to cause a break, as he did the other time,
yes,
the whole economy
will be shut down.
Even this office will not be able to come because NURTW2 will lock down. The Okada people will lock down. Will you trek from that to Banana Island
of course, it's our duty to still work.
We trek. Can you trek from Banana Island where you live to this place?
The media has to go on.
And you will trek Yemoja will carry you on top Mainland Bridge.
Essential services.
I said when you are trekking, Yemoja will carry you on top Mainland Bridge. And when the whole place is locked down, what do you expect? There will be anarchy. And when there is anarchy, what happens? I have been praying. No matter how bad this government is, I don't want to wake up one day and be hearing martial music. I don't want to. And that is why somebody like me, I don't believe in political violence. Rather, I strongly believe in politics by maneuvering.
Dr. D, let's focus more on what happened with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, whose pictures were seen on the front pages of a newspaper. Before you get your pictures on the front page of a newspaper, you must have paid. It's not something that just happens. Or someone paid. It's not something that happens by chance. Now, this is someone who is supposed to be at the forefront of ensuring that the Asuu strike comes to an end. And then we see him doing this. There was also the one that happened with, was it Wike, whose son graduated from a school abroad and all of that. It looks like we're not serious about this education issue in Nigeria.
I've been saying it. I just said it now. That this government, it seems, is out to foment trouble. And they are spraying it to people's faces. Go to Surulere. Go to Surulere, where this Gbajabiamila is representing. He has been in the house for how long?
2003.
Good. There is what we call constituency allowance, Abi, for Surulere. What has he been using it for? As a speaker, he has a special budget. Go and find out. What has he been using the money for? And he's planning to go back. And look at what he's now doing on the pages of the newspaper. Telling Nigerians that they are stupid. I mean, it is about telling us that we are stupid. For him to be showing that.
Of a 5-month strike.
Do you understand? A 5-month strike. You are telling us that we are stupid. He is supposed. Is
it a lack of emotional intelligence or his PR people aren't just doing their job?
It's about telling you. It's about telling you that you are stupid as a Nigerian.
No, he took the picture. So even if he didn't take the picture, someone wouldn't have put it there.
I know, but I'm saying putting it on the papers. That's the issue.
I'm saying is,
lobbyist can do anything.
There is no way your picture will be on the front page of the newspaper without paying for it. Because those newspapers, they are not from Father Christmas.
I'm just saying,
and unfortunately, this is not Christmas period. If it is Christmas period, we say, okay, maybe it's part of the Christmas present for him.
I'm simply saying it may not even be the man himself.
This is the same Gbajabiamila that chartered the whole aircraft to Saudi Arabia to go and celebrate his mother's birthday. I mean, look, we Nigerians sometimes, I don't know whether some people just put their hands in our brain and then be turning it.
Dr. D, we have to wrap up this conversation, but what are your final thoughts on this strike issue?
Well, for me, as much as I don't want this nation to go into anarchy, to go into avoidable chaos, I will still want to, because Yoruba will say ebelambo shika koje karo na koja. When you see somebody that wants to do you harm, okay, that want to harm you on your way, you just say, abeg, please don't harm me, so that you can be able to pass. So let us all be begging Baba, our Baba Buhari. Abi, he said he wants to go home, he's tired. Let us beg him. This little period, don't let the country go in flames. Because if at the end of the day, all other essential unions, no aircraft will be able to land, no aircraft will be able to take off, all the embassies, they will be stranded, airport, seaport, everywhere will be locked up. Even Mainland Bridge will turn to a football field. We don't want to wake up one day and be listening to martial music. So let us beg Baba Buhari to listen to the voice of the people. Or else, when the chips are down, you never can tell who will go with the wind.
All right, that's a fine place to leave it. Thank you so much, Dr. Dayo Kayode. We'll take a break. When we come back, another topical issue. Please stay with us.